Gaming is culture.
You fucking whiny whore.
Gaming.
Alright, let's see. Whoa, okay, I was about to say, is it muted? Guess that answers that. It was not.
So remember when I said Insomniac's Wolverine didn't look, act, or sound anything like Wolverine? Well, I hate to be that guy, but not only...
Yeah, dude, somebody did a side-by-side comparison of Nikocado, Aloy Kado, and dude, it's like a 1-to-1. They literally took Aloy's fat, ugly face from, you know, Horizon Forgotten West and put a fucking beard on it.
Was I 1000% correct? But now it's common knowledge for anybody with a brain out there, and if anybody says different, they're lying to you. This is not Wolverine. The real people knew it from day one. You don't have to play the game to know that it's completely retarded.
You don't even want to be here. You're right. I thought you were back. We were back.
Yeah.
You couldn't even protect him if you hadn't left. Exactly. Don't fuck yourself.
Every single counter argument that was created being, how do you know what Wolverine sounds like? He's from a comic book. How do you know what Wolverine acts like? There can be different versions of the character. All were just completely destroyed. Wolverine has a very distinct voice, look, and a way of acting. He's masculine, badass, and one of the deepest characters in the Marvel universe. He's not gay, he's not retarded, and he's especially not whatever the fuck this is meant to be. I've said it in all my other videos, so it kind of feels redundant saying it again, but apparently it needs to be. Wolverine is based off of Clint Eastwood directly. It's why Steve Bloom is basically doing a Clint Eastwood impression, and the same goes for Cal Dodd from the X-Men series in the 90s.
You gotta ask yourself, do I feel lucky? Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk?
Any real fan of the character knows this, but if you're arguing against people like me and you're trying to defend this corporate slop, then you clearly aren't a real fan. And just another thing that I've covered before is that apparently it's outlandish to say that you played the Wolverine game before it came out. It's so outlandish that you can find tweets all over the internet of people pulling up examples of stuff that was in the game in the original build, because it was available for such a long time to play. Now, I'm not going to say that I did play it because that might cause some issues here and there, but if you want to act like it was some hidden thing that nobody could have possibly gotten their hands on, then you're a moron. And like I just said, you might sound like a broken record saying the same stuff over and over, but it has to be done. This Wolverine right here is not even Wolverine. He doesn't deserve that title, and for many different reasons, being that he doesn't...
Dude, I'm not even gonna sit here and be like, bro, this isn't the fucking Wolverine that I know and love, because I don't know or love Wolverine, but it's cringe regardless.
Look or act anything like the character. Apparently the people writing this game are a big load of gay black women, and it's just a fact that the people writing Wolverine need to know about classic badass American movies like Dirty Harry or The Maltese Falcon. You know the exact inspirations for the 1980 Wolverine comic run, the debut solo run for Wolverine by
Well, those are white men, so no go.
Chris Claremont and Frank Miller, an absolute masterpiece. You know this one right here that I'm holding in my hands because I actually own it, which is not something that anybody writing this video game can say, or anybody arguing against me, because not many of these people actually read the comics. They pretend to be a Spider-Man fan, but they're actually talking about some comic from last week or the movies. They've never read the Roger Stern run. They've never read the Stan Lee run. And the same goes for Wolverine. These people want to tell you what Wolverine is meant to be and how anybody who doesn't love this game is wrong and some sort of anti-woke nutjob, when in reality, I don't really give a shit about woke. The game is retarded. But if you do want to talk about wokeness being political agenda injected into the story, well, this game has a shit ton of it because it's being made by Insomniac.
You gonna do this or should I?
Okay.
About time you caught up.
You know, the company which thought that Spider-Man wasn't Peter Parker, instead he was some annoying black kid or a deaf girl. When I buy a Spider-Man game, I don't want to play as Miles Morales. I don't want to fight the real Spider-Man, and I especially want to see him acting like the character from the comic page and not like a complete and utter cock. And that's a major issue with this Wolverine game. A lot of clips and cutscenes have been released from the game showing us what it's actually going to be like. And obviously, if you criticize it, the argument is that the game isn't even out yet. But it doesn't need to be to say that this right here is fucking spasticated. So we took the Clint Eastwood...
The game doesn't need to be out. It's another formulaic template Sony game. It's the exact same shit you've already played 10 times before.
Drinking, smoking, bar fighting badass Logan and turned him into a Redditor Goyim who acts like a homo who needs to go back to using Discord. And you'll hear these people bitching and moaning, crying, but in the Bryan Singer movies, he also did the middle finger with his claws. The Bryan Singer movies were complete shit and weren't anything like the X-Men. A complete disgrace to the source material. Anybody who's read the comics knows that. Wolverine doesn't stick up his middle fingers and smile and do a backflip out of an airplane because that shit is gay. Wolverine doesn't wear armor plating because in Weapon X, he was born as a mutant with healing.
Did I just flick you off with my adamantium claws with my heckin' mind?
factor. Which you can go watch my many videos on Wolverine if you want to see the full backstory, or you could just read the comic. But Wolverine didn't have bone claws. Originally, he was this loner, depressed guy who was going around getting into bar fights and blowing off steam at shooting ranges. He didn't have claws. Instead, he was this mutant who just had a healing factor. But then was kidnapped by the CIA, who had their eye on him. Then they brought him into the Weapon X program, giving him an adamantium skeleton, trying to make him a monster who was a killer to be used by the government. When in reality, the real monsters were the people in government. Weapon X is one of the greatest comics ever made, and probably the best story for the character of Wolverine. And once again, Insomniac, the people making this game and the people sucking off this
That's right, guys. The United States is evil. How subversive. Comics, dude.
corporate company have never ever read Weapon X, because if they
When you frame that shit in the context of the X-Men overall, which is supposed to be, you know, basically a allegory for the civil rights movement, you know, it's so obvious what the fuck this shit's about, bro. It's all about framing the United States and white America as evil, and the heckin' oppressed minorities are the victims. They're not monsters. They're just what white people made them. You know, that type. It's literal propaganda, man.
did, they'd know that this was complete bullshit. And I'm not going to dive deep into this, but I just saw 1 second of an IGN
That's why I just laugh when, like, right-wingers claim to love the original comics. It's like, do you actually know what those original comics are? Like, comics are some of the most subversive media out there. They were literally created to brainwash children. Like, come on, dude. You can't be a right-winger and a fan of Marvel.
And I just needed to destroy this prick right here. Now I'm paraphrasing because I don't really remember this Slop interview, but basically these guys were talking about the Wolverine game, and their takeaway was that it's cooler to have him running around in military gear, wearing armor when he's actually immortal for some reason, instead of him looking the way he did in the Weapon X comic.
Just like a guy outside of a 7-Eleven flipping a pocket knife over and over. You're like, all right, you should get a job, but it's, you know, it's pretty cool if you're in 6th grade. So this is, I'm gonna admit, I was so hoping that it would be done through the lens of like Weapon X flashbacks, but I guess this is still pretty cool. I think most people would be turned off if they start the game and it's just Wolverine in like a VR headset and a diaper, like running through the woods. You know, when they let him loose in the woods, he's just running around in his underwear with like an Oculus Rift on. Like, I don't.
You know, one of the most badass character designs of all time, and they'd rather the fake Goyim Wolverine being bossed around and saved by women. And you have a lot of people here on Twitter who are mentally handicapped and are getting laughed at, saying that this is their Logan. You can do whatever you want. You can claim this gay homo retard here who is not Logan. Anybody who's a real fan doesn't really care because it's not even close to the character. And also, from playing the original build of the game, it's basically just the X-Men Origins game from PS3. Exact set pieces, moves, and controls were copied into the new game. And it seems that that's what they're copying here, because in real Wolverine stories, he's usually in a bar in Canada, or he's in the middle of an American city, or he's fighting the Hand in the middle of Tokyo, getting into bar fights, wearing his classic brown and tan suit, or the blue and yellow one, not whatever this shit is. And there's people here on posts like this with 2 million views calling out the fact that why the hell is he wearing armor plating? The people making this game clearly, as you can see, do not fucking understand the character. Wolverine doesn't back down from a fight. He doesn't need armor plating. He's a badass character who's a mix of Conan.
What's wrong with... Okay. Alright, I'll take the bait. Why the fuck can he not wear armor plating? Why would that matter? Why would that be a problem?
And the barbarian, almost like a warrior who doesn't need any piece of armor, and also heavy drinking and smoking, gritty character similar to an old school noir detective. You can see this in the Wolverine run from the 80s by Chris Claremont and Larry Hama. All you need to do is read it and not LARP online, or make a game which is an abhorrent disgrace to Wolverine. And just take a guess at what the response was from these retarded sons of bitches at Insomniac. They've decided, instead of changing the game to actually fit the character, they want to bitch and moan online, complaining that the constant criticism and attacks are an onslaught on their mental health. Nobody fucking cares. Your game is an onslaught of sheer garbage and shit. It's an onslaught of constant propaganda and political messaging. Nobody cares. It's very easy to make a game that's accurate to the character, but you did not want to do that. And this...
Dude, Wolverine is an onslaught of political propaganda. Like, that's what I don't get. It's like, make it faithful to the comics. They did. The comics are just as subversive as the video game. They're just less blatant. So again, it's like, this is faithful to the source material. So that's the irony in all of this.
This is the response. People are going to call you out on your bullshit. You have to read the comics. You have to understand the character. You have to treat the stories and characters within Wolverine's world with respect. Any Wolverine or Uncanny X-Men comic before 1999 is absolutely kick-ass. And you can be guaranteed that Wolverine will be smoking, drinking, taking on some epic samurai revenge arc, and not doing whatever rom-com bullshit I'm looking at right here. Why isn't he wearing any of Wolverine's outfits, and instead he's wearing the Christopher Nolan editions? Why doesn't he have Wolverine's haircut? They're going to completely butcher the Weapon X segment, never showing respect to the original story, and instead creating their own thing, thing where this fucktard is running around crying or something. And like I mentioned previously, there's people here showing content from the original builds that were very easy to get your hands on. Where my prediction is they're going to be taking out a lot of stuff that people didn't like, trying to hide the fact that the game sucked. Like the fact that there was medkits like The Last of Us for some reason, which just explains it all. Why the fuck are you taking inspiration from the lesbian propaganda Jewish slop, which was The Last of Us? And also the fact that you could...
The lesbian propaganda Jewish slop.
Nigga.
What the fuck do you think Marvel is? Oh my god, dude. This is what I'm saying, guys. This is what I'm saying. This is why, you know, it's probably over. It's over, bro.
Play as Jean Grey in the original build, and they've taken that out because they know that people don't want to play as Jean Grey. And to everybody crying, I want to play as Jean Grey. Yeah, you
Oh
might.
man,
X-Men.
dear Lord, man. I don't know.
Game where she can kick some ass, but not in a video game titled Wolverine. It's not titled Wolverine and the bitch-faced feminist Jean
Bro, this is insane.
Grey. But that would probably be a more apt title for this piece of shit. Or maybe Goyim Wolverine acts like a redditor and cocks for a big load of mutants that are stand-in for people of color.
You good? Yeah.
Dude, this is, yeah. I'm almost convinced this is parody at this. What? That's always been what X-Men has been about, is the mutants being a stand-in for people of color. What the fuck? Oh my god, bro.
Let's trust this dude still hate mutants.
Yeah, well, give him a new reason to hate us.
Or maybe it should just be entitled Fake Wolverine that doesn't act any way like the character. You should be calling out the slop and his propaganda if you're a real fan and if you have any backbone or spine. And that's what I'm going to continue to do. I don't care if the game's out yet or not. I hate to be that guy, but I really was right on this, and so was anybody else who had the balls to call it out. Don't ever settle for Silver, especially when Silver is a company which pumps out propaganda 24/7. The solution is to say fuck you to everybody who's defending and making this game. Go back and read the original comics that kick ass, and never ever give money to a propaganda machine which hates you. Always question these companies' true intentions and form an original opinion that doesn't go along with what you're told to think. And if you got a problem with any of that, go fuck yourself.
God, bro. It's all so tiresome. I just want to see if somebody has called him out for saying that, you know, the original comics weren't Jewish propaganda. Like, nope, nope. Oh, these are your based chuds watching this, too. Yep, none of them. Beast pilled. I'm sorry, bro. Anyone that chills comic books in the Big 26 ain't based. Sorry. You should be awake to the fact that superheroes are not and will never be based. Dude, Stan Lee would probably be pissed to see his work turned to shit. Oh my god, man. If you only knew. Interesting. Not a single one, bro. You did a decent scroll through that. I just don't understand why people act like comics are like these based fucking works of me, like anything. They're not. Just like people act like anime's based. It's like, bro, there's a lot of fucking woke shit in anime too. Like the fact that every main character is a complete fucking pushover that women one up at every opportunity. It's not exactly based and should pilled, but you know, I don't know. Don't look to comics for your political worldview. I beg you. I beg you. Alright, we'll see what this is.
Which one seems more charismatic? Matthew McConaughey, of course. Now they're both leaning away.
Obviously. Duh.
But Ed Sheeran keeps his shoulders raised while Matthew keeps his shoulders relaxed, making us perceive him as more charismatic. According to the public speaker Olivia Fox-Cabane, charisma isn't something you're just born with, but a skill you can actually learn once you understand its 3 core components. Number 1, presence. Books and studies agree that you should focus on the other person during interactions. Good advice, but incomplete. Because if you don't socially calibrate yourself, you can actually seem creepy. Here's an example.
That's a tremendous outfit. You can only wear that if you have lovely well-shaped, muscular, lengthy, lovely legs. And what is that? Is that like...
What did he do wrong? He started the interaction with a compliment that targeted the below-the-waist area. He entered her personal space before building any comfort with her, and he started while talking, which made the comments even creepier. Now, you may argue that his failure is related to his bad looks, but let's see how Craig Ferguson, a man with similar looks and similar occupation, handles a similar situation in a more charismatic way.
Normally I can speak, but...
Not today.
Having a bit of a hard time this evening. Don't know what it is. It's kind of hot in the studio. I'm feeling a little...
Now, he also stuttered a bit, but he didn't invade her personal space, and he used an indirect sexual compliment. Now, Craig Ferguson isn't just a master at flirting, he's a master at making women want to flirt back with him. As a recurring pattern, he doesn't just flood a woman with attention, but also takes some distance from time to time.
I attempt to surf.
Do you wear a little outfit for surfing?
I happen to be wearing it under my dress right now.
Really?
Yeah, do you want to see it?
Yeah.
In psychology, this is called the commodity theory. Basically, the more attention you give, the less valuable it feels. The harder your attention...
Yup. That's why the whole nice guy shit doesn't fucking work.
...is to get, the more valuable it becomes. Number 2, power. Do you know what most of the top 20 law firms in America have in common? They have been trained by a communication...
I know what the top 20 law firms have in common, and it has nothing to do with body language. You know, I have a feeling this is not what the top 20 law firms have in common, but we'll hear him out.
team called Johnson & Hunter Inc. And we can actually steal some of their secrets. Let's start with the body movements. You can't hear a word of what he's saying, but you can subconsciously tell that he's not powerful and confident. When we're nervous, we tend to move more without realizing it. But when we feel confident, we naturally become more still. Now, the good part is that other people can't know how we truly feel inside. They only guess our emotions. So even if you're not confident, you'll seem more confident by just remaining more.
Also, talking slower is a sign of confidence too, guys. Like when you blurt out an answer really quick, like that makes people know you're nervous. So when you're having a conversation, slow it down.
More still. And it's the same way with gesticulation. Here's an example of how you should not
gesticulation. God!
Gesture.
These gestures are small and fast and jerky.
And now here's an example of how you should gesture.
As a person who's comfortable, not someone who's nervous.
Of course, powerful orators tend to also speak a bit slower, making them feel calmer and more in control of the situation. But I know what you might say. It would be easier to seem confident if you could actually get rid of your nervousness. But for that, we have to step back from the attorney training and take a quick look.
Just take a shot.
Into medicine. You see, when we become nervous, our bodies activate something called the fight or flight response. That's why we fidget more, get voice cracks, and feel our throat drying up. But in our body, there's a component called the vagus nerve. Think of him like the anti-fight or flight guy. Activating him slows down your heartbeat and calms yourself down. So throughout the decades, the medical world came up with some quick tricks that can increase his activity. A. The Valsalva maneuver. Basically, trying to breathe out while keeping your mouth and nose closed. But that only works when you're alone. If you're on a date, I've got a different method for for you. B. Prolonged exhales. Apparently, trying to breathe slower with a longer exhale than inhales can also calm you down. Number 3. Warmth. Philip Chesterfield was only 13 when his mother died. His father, although not completely absent, sent him to grow up at his grandmother's house. The best blessings he could have received, because his grandmother, Marchioness of Halifax, hosted meetings with some of the most important politicians and social figures of that time. So Chesterfield spent his entire childhood listening and learning how to maneuver social dynamics. For him, the rules of charm were simple. To be liked by women, you must be esteemed by men, and to please men, you must be agreeable to women. Now, in the years he spent learning, he discovered that women respond best to compliments, but a gentleman should not limit himself with mediocre compliments. In his writings, he said that you should seek to praise someone's particular merit, their predominant passion, or their prevailing weakness. In a few short years, Philip Chesterfield became Lord Chesterfield.
I like your fupa.
And one of the most loved courtiers in all of the United Kingdom. Here are some examples of his compliments. For particular merit, if she says something like, "Red is my favorite color," you can respond with, "Yeah, I can tell by how you matched your red shirt with the shoes. Very beautiful, by the way." For predominant passion, you can say, "You know,
Dude, that sounds so gay today. Yeah, I can tell how you matched your red shirt with the shoes. Very beautiful, by the way. Oh my god.
can be pretty interesting sometimes." And for a prevailing weakness, if she wears braces, you can say, "You have a beautiful smile, by the way." Here's a few more examples from my
Want to get something stuck in those teeth?
community. If you're a guy struggling to build attraction and falling into the friend zone, click the link in the description and try the community for 7 days for free. But as Dr. Albert Morabian found in 1967, only 7% of communication is verbal. The rest comes from tone and body language. In the book Cues, the communication expert Vanessa Van Edwards revealed the most important warmth cues. By the way, these are the same cues a girl will do if she likes you. If you want to find even more, check out this video.
Of course he's selling. Hey, you know, get your cent bucks, bro. Like, I'm sure there's a bunch of dudes who are paying for that shit, so. Can sue him if the course doesn't work. I still can't get laid, guys. I want a refund. Imagine having to take lessons just to get a girl to stay with you. I know, man. Things were so much easier when they were considered property. If only.
Okay, everybody. So it is like midnight where I am, and I have a flight in like 4 hours, and I really
Nobody cares, bro.
should be sleeping, but guess what? GTA 6 leaked again. You can't make this up. Now, for obvious reasons, I can't show the leaks here, so I'm going to describe them. I can't show them because, of course, Take-Two and Rockstar will strike everything, and while I don't think anything that leaked is like particularly bad or spoilery or anything, we're not going to show it, okay? But if you're resourceful, I'm sure you can figure it out. What has dropped are a couple of key pieces of information, namely the entire map leaked. It looks like the map.
Oh my god!
Project was very, very close. But it's that there's some gameplay snippets that have leaked as well that showcase some tidbits of gameplay that we had not seen before, such as like a basketball mini game, some driving and melee combat. But it appears the leak.
Of course it has a basketball minigame.
Is saying that this is from a build that came from late 2023. And how they got it, how they have access to it, what that means is all still up in the air. This is like breaking right as we're here. We do know that the person responsible for this is pairing it with information saying they allegedly have more leaks and more clips and stuff to share, and that they will share them.
Griffin isn't streaming for a week after August 27th? Why? What's August 27th?
If Rockstar does not issue like an apology to gamers for the no physical disc in the physical box, they're demanding pre-orders include physical media, things like that. I don't know how much of that is actually from the original leaker or if it's being co-opted by other people. Again, this is very new, this is very fresh. Or
a GTA trailer? I don't fucking care. I won't be watching it, so can't pull it up on stream either, so don't care.
Trying to figure it out as this goes by. But there are 2 gameplay clips that I'm aware of that have leaked, and the map itself. Now, the map itself, again, very closely matches what the mapping project has demonstrated already. We've looked at that a bunch on stream. It more clearly outlines the northern portion of the map, but the mapping project was already pretty close with their guesses. So the rough size of the map is
Evolved with the 2, he's leaking to sell his crypto scam. That's a dub, man. I think that's probably the best case scenario for GTA 6 is you could make money leaking, you know, people's crypto or whatever the fuck. I don't, no clue. But yeah, make that money. You know, that's the only thing that good can come from GTA 6 is you can make money off of it. Otherwise, I pity anyone who has to play it or talk about it.
scale of the map, all of that holds true. It's in line with expectations. Nothing crazy. There are a couple of interesting little tidbits in there and potential surprises, but it looks like the mapping project was pretty much in the ballpark. Beyond that, the gameplay snippets that were revealed showcase and reveal a couple of interesting things that we already knew about if you followed GTA 6 development stuff, if you were aware of some of the broader design
He probably lives in Russia or some shit where there's no risk of extradition.
changes.
Or China or somewhere, I don't know.
Most notably and significantly, again, this isn't a surprise to, I think, people who've followed this closely, but if you're not familiar, I'll just lay it out plainly. This is much more Red Dead 2 than it is GTA 5, okay? Just right at the outset, we have to be clear about that. This build is from late 2023. That's important to understand because that will be 3 years old by the time the game launches. Most games are not playable 3 years away from launch. Most games are like in a really rough spot, an early spot 3 years out. So the fact that this was playable in late 2023 shows how much time they've spent polishing, optimizing, etc., etc. And I think that that's
optimizing. I'll believe that when I see it.
awesome. That's good. But I think we also should take everything that we are seeing and that we're going to discuss in the next little bit with a grain of salt because things could have changed as they polished and, you know, improved stuff. So, number one.
Yeah, Rockstar releasing an optimized game will be a I'll believe it when I see it scenario.
It appears that vehicles are going to have, they're going to be much more delicate than in like GTA 5, for example. They are...
Oh boy, man. That means you have to restart even more missions.
Going to also inflict damage potentially on player characters when you're driving and get into a fender bender, not just like when you get ejected out of the vehicle, but like if you get in a bad rear ending or something, it could deal health damage to the player. It appears that...
Dude, it's just like real life!
Once again, the inventory system has been overhauled to be much more in line with Red Dead Redemption 2's inventory system. So for example, your car is sort of your center base, just like in Red Dead.
Isn't that awesome, guys? So you can only carry 2 guns at the same time, because who wants to carry 10? Don't you want to go walk back to your car and have to manually swap them out every time? That's so much better.
In Red Dead, if you want to swap from your shotgun and bow to a sniper rifle and carbine, you've got to go back to your horse or call your horse to you.
Like I said, dude, these fucking game devs don't care at all about making a game fun. It's not about being fun. It's not about a, you know, enjoyable gameplay experience. It's about this fucking dog shit realism. That's it. Realism is the only fucking thing they care about.
And then swap out the guns at the saddle, right? It's going to work similarly here, where if you want to swap from the AK-47 to the bazooka, you have to go back and you need that equipped to your vehicle to take it out and use it. They don't want you to just have like the circular wheel where you pull out 15,000 different weapons out of your butt crack. Like that's a thing of the past. Again, much more Red Dead 2 than GTA 5. A lot of the other more minor mechanics, the movement looks to be very, very similar to Red Dead 2.
That movement, bro, that movement.
They actually appear to have recycled many of the animations from Red Dead 2, which makes sense. Specifically for Jason's movement, a lot of it is just Arthur Morgan's walking animations and stuff. Again, it makes sense to reuse those. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. It's walking. It'll be okay. But overall, it again appears to be very Red Dead and much less arcadey GTA 5, which some people are going to be very excited about. I'm one of those people. Others who were hoping for the GTA 5 silliness and goofiness and kind of maybe cartoony vibes might be disappointed to hear that. I would expect other things like vehicle handling, controlling the, again, I've mentioned it before, the motorcycle thing where you can like flip the wheels up so the underside of the bike is facing the sky. That in GTA 5 gives you like lift to actually go up. And so you can fly across the map, basically, by flipping the motorcycle upside down when you start doing it. If you've never seen the trick compilations and stuff of people doing it, you must be living under a rock, because they were very, very popular about 10 years ago. But that, I would expect, is completely gone. I think that they are going to really try to ground this, and that also is reflected in things like the traffic.
Get rid of all the fun, man. The last semblances of fun gameplay. You gotta get rid of it.
Being more They're not going to have you going 150 miles an hour down the freeway because they are simulating like freeway traffic and stuff. So it's going to be a very different kind of game than I think some people are expecting. Other things we got from the leaks are, you know, confirmation of some other things that we thought, which is that there's going to be mini games in all sorts of different ways. Basketball is the one showcased in the current round of leaks, but there's expected to be other things like scuba diving, fishing, jet ski riding, and races for all of that, etc., etc. Overall, having looked at this, my takeaway, number one, it looks very Red Dead. Okay, it very much looks like it was built on the back of Red Dead 2, and then they kind of went from there and they started adding new stuff, but it very much, at least in these leaks, had the skeleton of Red Dead, which I'm okay with, but again, it's much slower. If you've played GTA 5 and you compare it to Red Dead 2, it's a much slower, more methodical game. And
well, one's an actual game and one is a fucking simulator.
That seems to be what GTA 6 is going to be. So I expect that it's going to slow players down a lot more than they might be expecting. Number two, this was playable, according to the alleged leaker, in late 2023, which is crazy, okay? So like this is right around the time of them preparing and launching the first trailer and putting that out there. This is a pretty early time period for the game to be as playable as it appeared to be in this footage. That being said, 3 years of dev time is a long time. As I mentioned earlier, most studios, I was just talking to a dev earlier tonight when like this started to happen, most studios don't even have like a playable version of the game 3 years out. Usually it's like still in like early betas, you're still operating largely in gray boxes, you've got the skeletons of things laid out, but it's like really early. For them to have the game like this built out, as we saw in the leaks with these, like all these systems interconnecting and working the way that they were 3 years before launch, I mean, that's pretty remarkable. And I would not be surprised if a lot of stuff has changed in the last 3 years that we maybe we're not, you know, we won't see in the leaks, because obviously the leaks are of a like in development build. Things can change and evolve very quickly in this space, especially when you're talking about Rockstar, who has thousands upon thousands of developers working on it. I guess the primary takeaway would be, if you're looking at these leaks and you think you know what GTA 6 of 2026 is going to be like, no, there's going to be a lot more bells and whistles. It will be a lot more refined. So if you're thinking of like nitpicking the animations, nitpicking how fist fighting was working, nitpicking the driving, you know, burnout that happens when the car spins around, if you're thinking of nitpicking that stuff that's shown in the leaks, I would pump the brakes and hold off, because I think that all of that is going to be significantly improved. However, the big picture stuff that's demonstrated in the leaks, that was demonstrated in the leaks back in 2022, that's been confirmed with like developer interviews or with other things like the patents that Rockstar, or rather Take-Two, filed with all sorts of new technology that they developed. All of that.
Chaka Shaka Gaming with the 3. Luke is such a Redditor. Yeah, the more I hear about this game, air quotes, the less I care about it.
Suggests, again, that this is a much less arcadey game. They're leaning much more into realism. And again, that's going to frustrate some people and excite others. But just prepare yourself for this to be a much less goofy, silly ragdoll game and much more Red Dead 2, grounded storytelling, that type of game. I think it's going to be fantastic. I mean, it's Rockstar. But I do think that there's going to be a good number of people that are expecting
Of course it's got to be good.
it to be
Just like Naughty Dog.
basically just GTA 5 2.0, and that's not what it is. This is not one of those situations where it's like, just do Skyrim 2. That's not what they're doing. They're going to try to evolve the formula, and that's what they seem to be doing with all of the learnings from Red Dead 2.
Except there is no Skyrim 2, so that's a terrible example.
And I'm very interested in it. I'm very excited. But I do feel for the devs. Now, beyond all of this, like I said, the map also was leaked with a good amount of detail. It's pretty impressive how close it matches the mapping project. The guys over there were very close, it appears, if this map is legitimate. Some people say that it feels small and the map feels small. Maybe, I guess we'll see when the game launches. But again, I think if you were playing this map the way you played GTA 5, it might feel small. We do know that if you scale it accordingly, it is significantly larger than the map of GTA 5. It's larger than the map of Red Dead 2. It's a big map. The question is just if you can traverse it quickly with like planes, bikes, motorcycles, and cars, it may not feel that big, but I think it will. In a recent video, I actually pulled up a project done by a very talented player and actually a fan called Noah Asden, who actually rebuilt the entire community mapping project map of GTA 6 in City Skylines 2. And because you can download a mod,
I have AUT, ISM, autism.
To get first-person perspective and walk around like an NPC, you can actually download this one-to-one scale map of GTA 6, walk around and explore the city in first person and see what it would be like if you were to like actually walk around with things scaled properly. And when you do that, you realize how freaking big that map is. It's really easy to look at a literal like picture and conclude, looks small, but it's not that simple. If you look at the map of Red Dead 2, you're like, I don't know, it looks pretty small and simple to me. And then you get in that world and it does not feel small. So I'll just say withhold judgment on that, because I think it's going to surprise you. Overall, though, I think Rockstar, I'm sure they are frustrated right now. Like, one of the questions that immediately popped in my mind was like the Netflix deal with them having the deep dive, extensive look, whatever. If they had as part of that deal, like the map reveal as part of that, I'm sure Netflix is not happy right now. I mean, I'm sure even if they didn't have like the map reveal as an exclusive for Netflix, or even if they didn't have this or that exclusive, Netflix, I'm sure, isn't happy, because this is taking away their thunder. This is taking away attention from that first look. It's not great. So I don't envy the people over at Rockstar. They're definitely frantically trying to figure out what's going on. But I don't think that this leak like changes anything. I don't think it kills any hype. At least I'd be surprised if it killed anybody's hype. It's development footage from 3 years ago. Like, it's not finished. Like, literally, it's not finished. So I think it's just interesting to see where it was back then, and I'm still very intrigued to see where it is today. In about, like, what, a week and a half when we get that deep dive, it's going to be interesting. But yeah, it's another Luke trip where there's a GTA 6 leak. Like, seriously, dude, it's unreal. Almost every big trip I take, there is a GTA 6 related drop, whether it's a trailer or a leak of some sort. It's frankly remarkable, and the fact that this happened on the last day is like kind of poetic. It's beautiful, really. But anyway, I'm headed back home tomorrow morning, or I guess this morning. It's late, and I can't wait to get home and start streaming again and get back into our regular kind of groove of things. I've missed you all dearly, and it's been a good time traveling Europe and exploring it with the family, but I'm ready to get back and get back into swing things. So thank you for putting up with all of it. Thanks for being patient. We've got a ton of stuff coming in the next handful of weeks, and September is going to be ridiculous. So thank you for being here with me for all of that. Much love. I'll see you in the next one. Let me know what you think of all of this stuff.
Holy fuck, dude. You already ended the video. Blah, 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 blah. We'll see if we do the quartering video or not. I don't know. An hour and 30 minutes is a bit much. Nope. Nothing new from Dream. He made the same video twice, dude. Holy fuck. He made the same video twice. That's brutal, man. The same fucking video twice. Yeah, there is nothing there, bro. I don't give a fuck about GTA 6. Genuinely, the game could be fucking canceled, and the only thing I'd feel is nothing. Actually, I'd feel a little bit of happiness, because then I'd never have to think about it again. So, I have no fucking interest in GTA whatsoever. I don't plan on buying it, and not really anything is going to change my mind on that front. Can make a killing streaming it? I doubt that. I highly fucking doubt that. Why every game is slop now? Let's see.
I don't know how else to describe it, but I call this genre of game friend slop. Its sole purpose of existence is friend farming.
This game is just indie slop. Well, technically, this is just a lot of horror slop.
Genuinely, what's up with all the Perry slop indie games from this last decade? Is it just me asking this?
What are some examples of quality slop? Movies people only like because they're good. What? Surreal avant-garde political thriller. And castle slop. Everything is slop. Now, I don't know when it became popular to call things slop necessarily, but the first instance I remember is this tweet here calling Lethal Company friend slop. And back then it was pretty funny, and now it has its own Wikipedia page. And according to that, friend slop is a subgenre of co-op indie games oriented around a low barrier of entry and social interaction, emphasizing gameplay in social groups. Which kind of brings me to my first point of the video. The term friend slop was originally used as an insult, targeting games like Lethal Company that were specifically designed around social interactions and not really much of the gameplay. People would look at a game that was similar to Lethal Company and call it friend slop because it had the same sort of formula, and it was used as an attack. But now the word friend slop has almost had a complete 180 where people are actively leaning into the term friend slop. It's no longer used as a negative connotation most of the time, it's used as a genre itself, which is really interesting. And it's really the only slop term that has any sort of positive meaning behind it. Pretty much every other instance of something followed by slop is bad, except friend slop. Now, a lot of the time you hear content creators use friend slop in a positive meaning. This game is my favorite kind of friend slop, or I want to play some friend slop today. But friend slop has also just become a really lazy way to target something that you don't like that's similar to something else. Like back in the day, we didn't call every shooter that came out after Call of Duty shooter slop, and every 3D platformer that copied Mario 64 wasn't platformer slop. New games were allowed to build off of the formula the old game set without being attacked for it. And now indie developers are being attacked for just using a similar formula as another game. 4-player co-op game, friend slop. Proximity chat, voice slop. Funny physics, ragdoll slop. You get the idea. Indie games get hit with this constantly now, especially when they use a recognizable aesthetic. Any sort of pixel art, that's indie slop. Low poly graphics, that's also indie slop. Any sort of retro game based around the 90s, especially if it has a VHS effect, that's not just a retro horror game, that's analog horror slop. There are absolutely oversaturated indie genres. Steam gets flooded with games following whatever happens to be successful at the moment, but there's a difference between a game lazily copying a popular formula without adding anything interesting and a game just belonging to a popular genre. And now if a game comes out and someone doesn't like it, it just automatically becomes slop. And yeah,
I think that's a pretty fair categorization. A game comes out, I don't like it, put it in the slop trough.
We've been here before. This isn't the first time the internet has beat a word to death. Overrated, underrated, cringe, mid, generic, soulless, cash grab. Half of these words still technically have definitions, but online they just often translate to something I don't like. And now slop is going through the same process, but a lot faster. Because it's fun to say, it's short and it's insulting. And you can attach it to pretty much anything. Dating slop, superhero slop, streamer slop, open world slop, nostalgia slop, prestige slop, cozy slop. Everything is slop. And this video is just content slop. Fuck. All of this to say that slop originally had an actual meaning behind it. A lot of the times people would call something slop, it was associated with things that were mass-produced and easily disposable. But now you have people calling a game that was made by 4 people over the span of 6 years slop just because they didn't enjoy it. Imagine spending 6 years of your life developing a game.
Okay. Yeah, if I don't like something, then I'm going to call it slop. I don't care how long they spent on it. The fuck does that have to do with me? You know, I don't really give a shit that The Last of Us 2 took, what, 7 years to make? It was slop. Period. Doesn't matter how long the dev cycle was.
Your blood, sweat, and tears into this project, working day in and day out trying to fix your code to get your game just right, adding the perfect music, the perfect assets. You have countless sleepless nights staying up late to fix the bugs. And then finally, after 6 years, the game that you poured your life into is finally ready for release.
Heckin' passionate game devs, dude. Think of the heckin' Deverinos.
Finally release it, and then a few weeks go by and you check the reviews. Only for your 6 years of hard work to be categorized under friend slop. Can you imagine how that would feel? Like, again, I get it. Real slop does exist, don't get me wrong. But then there are games with actual heart and soul and a dedicated team behind them that put so much charm and life into their game, just to be called friend slop because somebody doesn't like the genre of the game they produced. Instead of giving actual meaningful reasons for why they don't like the game, they just go with the cop-out answer and call it slop. But I don't want to hate on it too much because slop definitely does exist. You can just feel when something was created with absolutely zero ambition beyond filling a slot. There are games copying other successful games almost asset for asset, but that's exactly why I don't want the word to become meaningless. If everything is slop, then nothing is. But something can be overdone without being bad. You can be tired of roguelikes, you can be tired of mascot horror games, and you can be tired of extraction shooters. That's fine. You don't need a larger moral argument there. Sometimes you've just seen enough of something. And I think a lot of slop discourse is basically just that. A lot of people get exhausted by a trend, so everything participating in that trend starts looking like a cynical copy, even when it isn't. There's an expectation that every single new game needs to justify itself being completely original. That's basically impossible. Almost every great game is built from pieces of other games. Minecraft wasn't the first game where you could place blocks, and Fortnite wasn't the first battle royale. Stardew Valley wasn't the first farming game. Lethal Company didn't invent 4-player co-op. Balatro didn't invent playing cards. What matters is the combination, the execution, and the personality. The little decisions that make something feel like itself. If we decide that using an established formula automatically makes something slop, we're basically asking developers to reinvent the medium. But it's okay for somebody to take an existing idea and just make a really good version of it. And you're probably sitting here thinking, who cares? It's just internet slang. And yeah, mostly. Nobody's life is ruined because somebody called their favorite game friend slop. But I don't like how online criticism is obsessed with putting things into boxes as quickly as possible. Is this slop? Is this peak? Is this mid? Is this underrated? Is this a masterpiece? Am I chopped? Yes. We've seen this cycle before though. A word starts with an actual meaning, kinda. People start using it ironically. Then the irony becomes popular and even more people start using it. Then people start using it incorrectly. People start complaining that everyone uses it incorrectly. We're here, by the way. And eventually the word becomes so annoying that using it becomes cringe. And then we invent another word and repeat the entire process all over again. And that's probably what's going to happen to slop. Now, I'm not going to stop using it. Friend slop is objectively hilarious, but maybe we should reserve it for things that actually deserve it. Something being trendy doesn't automatically make it slop. Something borrowing ideas doesn't make that slop either. Something looking similar to another game also doesn't make it slop. And just because something is a 4-player co-op game and you don't have enough friends to play it, doesn't automatically mean it's friend slop. Sometimes you just don't like the game or the premise of the game, and that's fine. You're allowed to say that. You don't need to turn every opinion into an indictment of the entire entertainment industry, because if we keep expanding the definition of slop to include everything we're mildly tired of, eventually every game is slop, every movie is slop, every YouTube video is slop.
Well, most video games are in fact slop, meant for mass consumption or discarding.
Slop, I'm slop, and we're all just slop.
I mean, by definition, the majority of stuff is slop. Like, that's the entire point, you know? The whole use of slop referring to games and entertainment, you know, is basically a abbreviated version of GOYSLOP. So, yeah, it's just literal garbage meant for mass consumption by the cattle class of society. So, yeah, lowest common denominator shit. And that's what most video games appeal to nowadays, unfortunately. Is, you know, that type of shit. Hollywood is ruining Naruto. Oh my god, bro. Oh yeah, dude, I saw this shit. I don't really want to watch Brittany Venti, but we'll see. This was funny as fuck, man.
Well, no, I have
Apparently, Melanie Mack had plastic surgery at some point. I saw this on Twitter.
0 plastic surgery and have no fillers or Botox. The only reason I recognize that this
Bro, that's a jump scare. Oh my god.
The only reason I recognized that this was her was because of the Tomb Raider figurines in the background. And she says, I was very transparent about getting my filler reversed and have it documented on my Instagram. I have no work done on my face at all right now. What I had done was reversed years ago. There's nothing dishonest about that. You are being extremely disingenuous, clearly being very deceptive here and omitting crucial details that all of her new viewers would not know that she had filler. So you're 40 years old, your structural integrity of your skull and your skin is collapsing, and you're being dishonest about things that helped you preserve that at 40 years old. After Melanie Mack did this deceptive wording and semantics on her getting filler and Botox in the past, people literally found footage of her at the Botox clinic getting Botox. And her cope about this was, oh, it's for TMJ, it's for TMJ. It's for a medical reason, which I think it's totally fine to get it if you've done your research and everything like that. But what you need to understand is that getting Botox in your jaw is something that literal transgenders do to their face. This is literally used by transgender people to narrow their jawline so that it appears more feminine. It does cause a cosmetic change. Now, she probably got this stuff when she was, I don't know for sure, right? We can't know for sure. When was the Botox clinic thing, right? She could have did it a bunch after that years later. So we don't know for sure, but you know, you're getting that when you're like 35. That's going to affect it significantly because you're rapidly losing that bone loss and the collagen versus like if a 25-year-old gets it, at least they still have more of that integrity left. There's less of a gap. And yet she's running a fitness channel and talking about how she hates when fitness channels lie about how they got their body.
I love the fitness community, but the worst thing about it is the liars. It's the people who guarantee and promise you impossible results, and especially if they're selling you a program. I was just scrolling earlier while I was on the treadmill, and this girl posts her before and after. And in her before, she was a little skinny fat, probably weighed like 115 pounds, but had a higher body fat percentage.
I like that quick little dig. I just want to point that out for foreshadowing for later.
And then in the
Her
after
taking a dig
photo,
at a
she was
woman.
like shredded and ripped. And in her comments and in her caption, she said, the only thing I did was reverse diet and eat 800 more calories a day. That's it. And now I'm shredded. It's like, okay, surely she misspoke somewhere. I go to the comments and people are saying, oh, so you lifted heavier, you lifted more. No, actually, I lifted weights less. So then I comment and I'm like, okay, so in your before, were you eating 800 calories less, but then not sustaining it and then binging on some days or eating more on some days that like offset that amount? She's like, nope, I just added 800 calories more every day, slowly over time, and I reduced my activity, and I went from skinny fat to shredded by doing that, and that's it. I just worked out way less.
Does this not sound exactly how she was phrasing her getting Botox and filler? Her not having it. Tell me it doesn't sound the same.
Actually, I walked less. I did everything less and just ate more, and that's it. And now all of a sudden I'm shredded.
So she's complaining about an influencer hitting an unrealistic expectation in the sense that in what she was saying, it didn't add up to how she was looking, that she looked very in shape, very cut up, and yet her diet plan / her fitness routine wasn't adding up. And so Melanie is complaining about that.
That literally makes no sense. So then I'm like, let me look at her page. I look at her page. The real answer here wasn't just reverse dieting.
Well, the 0 wrinkles is also due to the layers and layers of makeup and foundation, too, so.
It was building more muscle, therefore being able to eat more food. But she did gain weight, which was good weight, muscle weight. But, like, be honest here.
Doesn't this sound identical? She's complaining about a woman getting results by not saying the full information about how she got them. How retarded would you have to be to not see the irony? You could literally reenact everything she just said and just fill in the blanks with Melanie and Botox and filler. Yeah, guys, I saw this 40-year-old woman on the internet and barking like a dog.
Oh my god.
And it was so weird. Her eyebrows, they weren't moving. It was almost like they were trained
Pork
to do that
chungus
unnaturally.
alert.
So she said that she does not currently have Botox and filler and never had plastic surgery. You know, then I checked her page and I found out that lo and behold, she had Botox and filler. Ugh, I just hate when the influencer community is liars. It's literally the same story. It's identical. Yeah, these influencers, they're lying about their bodies, but you know, unlike me, Melanie Mack, who's fully transparent about my body.
Ah, that voice! I can't take that voice!
And I was like, there is no way that she is biggling her eyebrows around to prove the haters wrong, to own the haters that she totally doesn't care about.
So the internet right now is saying I have Botox. Even though I don't.
No way.
And I've been.
Dude, what the fuck is she doing with her face?
even though I don't.
No way.
And I've been.
Oh my god. Ugh. The ick. Now, this is how I know what women mean when they say the ick. Because I just got it.
No way. The internet's saying I had Botox.
That is gross, bro.
Telling people I don't. But they say because my eyebrows don't move. Got Botox. But, my eyebrows do move. You just don't really see them like...
You know what? I'm seeing it. She does kind of look like Blair White. In the sense of her mannerism, it's not even just like, oh, she has dark hair or something. No, no, no. She emotes exactly like this.
Got Botox.
She goes like...
She
does the same thing.
You just don't really see them like this that often.
I'm telling you guys, go watch a Blair White video. She emotes exactly like this.
I don't frown. People are gonna lie on you no matter what. Like, if you have any sort of presence on
that was 40 seconds of her trying to be a quirked up twink. That's crazy.
On the internet or anything like that, or even in general, people are going to lie on you. And now the cat is...
I've never seen a woman her age really act like this, to be honest with you. Emoting like this, I don't know. Oh, and before you say I'm being mean, just wait. Just wait. Just wait for what she calls me and what she says to me, okay? Before you saying, Brittany, you're such a bitch. Okay, but was it warranted?
They get upset if I don't, like, call out the haters more. Like, they will, you know, they will actually send me stuff to call out. And it's like, I don't want to do that. Because that's not what I'm here to do. It's just argue with people. I'm not a drama channel.
She actually does that all the time.
People want to cancel Yanti for wearing a hijab and making fun of it, and this is what she had to say about that.
If you remember that woman who used to do tarot card readings, well, she just made a new video and she cooked.
So AOC told the North to pull up on the South.
I don't do that gossip stuff.
So I don't know what she meant by that.
So that's not what I do. For me, I just want to, talk about Jesus.
If you received word that Jesus Christ...
I want to share things that I like.
The
And
music, bro.
sometimes we gotta call out evil stuff that goes on in the world, but we have to make sure that we're not doing that out of bitterness, out of anger, out of envy or lies, because then that's not from God. So, yeah, I'm doing my best, and I guess that's all I can do.
She just said a whole bunch of nothing.
But I'm gonna get ready for church, and I think you should too. Bye.
What the fuck was that?
You should too. You should too.
You should too. What are you fucking doing? She's 40. What are you doing? What are you doing? Not the Ulu. When I talked about her being very much a brand that's reliant on simps and there's no foundation underneath, you should understand what I mean by that now. That this was my post that I said to her moving her eyebrows. I said, Melanie, your tweet was confusing, this one, and is bad communication on your end. You complain about a lack of transparency with fitness influencers with how they got their body, yet you weren't fully transparent about yours and omitted details that misled people. And I posted the picture of her before when she was getting filler, obviously, to the point where she looks like a different person. So she's getting filler, and we don't know for how long. That's the other thing, guys. Yes, it does go away over time. Filler and Botox can go away over time depending on which filler you get. But you need to understand that at 40 years old or in your 30s, when you're getting it, it means it has significant impact on your face, on your structure, as your structure in your face is collapsing. And even after it fades, it has long-term effects, which is what I explained to her. I have no work done on my face at all right now. What I had done was reversed years ago. Do you see how she's like sweeping? Like, oh, no, it's not, Sims, it's not there anymore, I swear. Like, I get it, it fades. It can fade depending which filler you get. But again, she's 40. It means something a little different. And you're claiming that you have nothing. You're presenting in this way that you have nothing when that's not the full truth. That's lying by omission. So in this thread, she replied to somebody else. And she said to this person saying they don't want another e-girl war. Let's remain peaceful with each other. She proceeds to totally be good faith and choose peace here by saying, she, meaning me, will bully a pretty girl any chance she gets. Who is she talking about? The quartering? Then she says, it was only a matter of time before she targeted me, if we're being honest. I responded to her saying, she's bullying me because I'm pretty. And I said, quite the move to flatter yourself like that when your whole controversy is about getting work done. Insane how she has no sort of self-awareness to be like, maybe I shouldn't suck my own.
She's calling herself a pretty girl at 40, though. Again, arrested development, man.
When this whole argument is about me misleading people about the work I've had done. Maybe don't bring your fucking looks into it. Oh, you know what? It's not possible that I could be wrong. You have to be jealous. It's not possible that you could critically think. You just have to be jealous of me. This is why I'm calling her Melty Mac. Yeah, she gave me the block of good faith there. And it was also trending on Twitter, her getting just steamrolled by people. Wow! It's also interesting that she is taking digs at me saying I just bully pretty girls. Why are you taking digs at me, Melanie? The whole internet is calling you Melon West Mac because of your boss.
If you're in the chat worried about where Melanie Mac is, stop being such a fucking loser. You guys all know I'm a boob guy anyway. I like my boobs, 2 scoops full.
And his co-host is a now married and has been a Christian woman for quite some time now.
Oh no, I lost my purse! Oh, never mind. It's right here.
I may be a purse, but at least I'm fabulous.
She edited that part out.
Bro. WAI, bro. WAI. You know, actually, in my head canon, that was the actual video.
If you guys didn't know, that last part. I don't get the joke. Like, oh, haha, he's my walking ATM machine, or what? I hope that Melanie Mac gets to go on her bimbo shopping spree of her dreams with Johnny Junkers' money.
I hate to work, I love to party, dance to trance and shake my body. Shake my body.
Brutal, man. Fluffle Nugget with the 250 jewels. Appreciate it, man. We're so not back. That's right, man. Melonless Mac bros. How will you respond?
Groovy!
When people keep claiming Christianity, it just makes them sound lame instead of inspiring. Yeah, exactly. Do you want to be a washed-up e-girl like me who can't get a job in the video game industry anymore? Then convert to Christianity. Like, yeah. It's doing more harm than good at that point. It's doing more harm than good. See, this is exactly what we were talking about earlier. Why you can get girls, but never the ones you want. Exactly. The question is, how low can you go? Show that to Raymond? Oh, yeah, dude. That'll be received real well. I'm sure he'll have a completely sensible and stable response to that particular video. Can expect another meltdown from... I don't... No idea, bro. I don't watch Raymond in my free time if I can avoid it, so... I do my best to avoid Ramundo. Personally. Bro, we still live? Yup. Been live for 8 hours, dude. I actually did my 8-hour subathon, unlike Review Tech USA. And I wasn't even asking for a certain amount of shekels to do so. Wowie zowie. That's what I don't get, bro. It's like Rich does nothing. He wakes up and live streams. That's it. Literally it. He doesn't have a job. He doesn't have to take care of kids. He doesn't probably even cook for himself or clean the house. He wakes up and live streams in like 8 hours is unbearable to him. Like, that's crazy, man. Should we watch this?
Tim Pool and Alex Jones seem to be good friends.
The greats. Who are you? What do you do?
I was thinking about Joe Rogan's now.
That's a weird way to introduce yourself, Alex.
But now, Alex is on a non-stop onslaught against Tim Pool.
Tim Pool or secret meetings. I'm just focusing on the Israel split 1.2.
And honestly, I enjoy both of their content. Tim's been nice to me as a fellow YouTuber, and Alex has always been incredibly entertaining. But their rift seemed to stem from a genuine misunderstanding.
So with the huge censorship we've seen in the last 48 hours, I don't believe he's behind it. That's why I'm firing the bat signal right now at Elon Musk to find out what the heck is going on X and to correct this problem. It is taking us from hundreds of thousands or millions of live viewers to a couple thousand. Most people that are flooding us with private messages and emails say they can't even click on it and see the feed.
To which Tim replied, the loss of viewership may be from Alex turning on Trump. And it's true. Jones has recently soured against the president.
I'm just going to scorch earth Trump to get him back on track. Only way to do it is to go after him viciously. Say one more thing out of your mouth. And Laura Loomer, send him this, okay? One more thing. When I've gone through hell back in your ass because you were the lesser of two evils, then I'm going to show you how to cow eat the cabbage. Do one more thing. You should be kissing my ass.
And Trump wasn't shy to post replies on social media, calling Alex Jones bankrupt and fried.
For the second time in a week and a half, President Trump has come out and viciously attacked myself and other prominent people that have warned about the Iran war being a total disaster, which has been proven to be. He calls me a low IQ loser and all the rest of this stuff.
But Jones's perspective isn't necessarily invalid.
And they think that if they just prop Trump up, at least he's a lesser of two evils. My view is when you go along with what Trump's doing, that only encourages him and some of the bad guys in his administration to get even worse. And I think logically, people can understand that.
When's the dim fool shit coming into play?
And see that. Also trying to get Trump to do the right thing.
This is like 4-month-old shit with Trump and Alex. I think like 4 months old. Where's the dim fool shit?
A lot of the black pillars think is supporting Trump or being manipulated by Trump or being conned by Trump, when I don't have any illusions to that. I do know politically, though, if we don't lobby and don't speak out, that it only lubricates the country going off the edge of a cliff and the world going off the edge of a cliff.
And I feel somewhat similar. I voted for Trump and like him for the most part, but this pro-war stance is definitely something I didn't vote for. But I can still support someone almost expecting they're going to let you down, especially since the alternative was openly trying to silence us. But Alex didn't seem to like Tim's advice regarding branding, only for it to later be discovered. But Alex...
More boomer slop. Open an ice cream shop, and over the years, you have customers who love it. One day, you announce you're going to be vegan ice cream, and customers stop coming in. This isn't an insult, Alex.
Didn't seem to like Tim's advice regarding branding, only for it to later...
Tim, it was a glitch affecting all streamers on X. It's now been fixed. Tell Benjamin Netanyahu I said hi. The fuck?
To be discovered. Jones didn't lose viewership. This was just a temporary glitch in X's viewership counts. But this didn't stop Jones from posting 3 videos, all accusing Tim of being a paid-for foreign influencer.
I'm going to shoot one more report.
That's right, dude. Netanyahu put him up to talking about my numbers being down.
Tim Pool in a secret meeting with Benjamin Netanyahu that he admitted he had. He said he's going to keep secret. And it's just this: we cannot tolerate Americans meeting secretly with a foreign government that's openly trying to manipulate our foreign policy.
To which Tim replied, this is just the lesson of politics. They're no friends, just conveniences. Jones used my show when it served him, but now he's decided I'm lesser of value, only for Alex to call him the real backstabber. And honestly, I wonder if there's an extra layer to this. Is this Jones actually believing Tim's this paid-for foreign operative? Or is this Alex just reciprocating what Tim's given him, just a little more beneath the surface? As Tim isn't wrong. Once you build your audience amongst Trump supporters, it cuts down your potential viewership, but then switching to disaffected Trump supporters slices that share down even further. And Tim would have some expertise in this, as he took Timcast IRL from a pop culture podcast in 2020 to today having over 350,000 subscribers on his website, possibly paying at least $10 a month. Meanwhile, his arguably more popular former co-host isn't doing quite as well. So I see it as good faith information from Tim towards Jones, but is Jones forming Tim's name next to a new conspiracy theory just Jones's way of saying, no dude, This is how you gain relevance in today's internet landscape. Since Tim thinks this whole thing is weird, as Alex once called Candace a demon and is now attacking him.
Texted me that Candace was a demon. Last message we have is about us hanging out in Austin. Why is he attacking me all of a sudden?
Thinks this whole thing is weird, as Alex once called Candace a demon and is now attacking him, to which Candace steps in saying Tim has hyper-feminine behavior, which sad to say gets a lot of people out of their seats to engage with their interaction, thus pushing their names out to more faces, as Candace just used internet drama to 5x her viewership and receive an extra $300,000, as Asmund Gould has also been boosting his audience, forming drama with that guy who's most known for shocking dogs. Not my words, he's literally what comes up when you Google who shocks dogs. Which is hilarious, as that's what he's most known for now. Not Twitch or politics, just animal abuse. But negative or not, this whole feud between the two has made both parties richer. The whole beef industry started with Jay-Z v Nas and keeps being successfully replicated up until today. And even if it stains your reputation as a PDF or a socialist animal abuser, in a world that turns attention into currency, we're probably going to see this happen again. As of course, Alex Jones is challenging Tim to a debate.
Everybody's asking, it's a huge story, I didn't intend to be this big. What's the beef between me and Tim Pool? X came out over the weekend, a major update, and it basically killed all the live streams, entertainment shows. By Monday evening, Tim Pool comes out and says, that's because you criticized Trump and basically the war, so you're not popular now. And the fact that that was a mirror of all these known Israeli bots, but when you thought I was down, buddy, like that buffalo, you came in there and you just, well, guess what? I ain't down. I didn't get an arrow shot through my heart. So bring it, let's go. I'm offering you your favorite currency, rubles or shekels, to debate me live with no moderator. We'll see what you do, Tim.
To which Tim accepts.
Okay, we'll do the debate. We'll charge $300 per ticket. And I don't know what we're gonna debate because you know, I don't know what we disagree on, I guess. So
it's 2 hours of agreeing.
Stating $300,000 is a going rate, which just means we've officially gone into the Jerry Springer, Hulk Hogan, Conor McGregor era of news and politics. As I admit, I'm a filthy normie and also part of the problem. I couldn't care less if Don Lemon did another TikTok interview while slowly sliding into irrelevance, but if I heard that he and Tucker Carlson got in a fist fight outside a Waffle House at 4 a.m., I'm immediately scouring social media to see that footage. And honestly, I see Alex Jones as an entertainer. If nothing else, this drama is to be expected from him. Is he right about Tim? I have
looked it up, and what's true?
No way of knowing, but the fact that it makes some people wonder so much that it's trending on Twitter just shows us that Jones's tactics are working. But if you appreciate my concise, lighthearted commentary on the tragic status that is today's reality, hopefully I've earned your subscription and you'll subscribe to Decoy.
The who shocks dogs thing's interesting. That's kind of funny. I'm surprised Google hasn't fixed that yet.